To replace the motor, part number M58, on your 14,000 or 40,000 series Big Dipper, you will need a hammer, needle nose pliers, a Phillips head screwdriver, a 3/32 inch Allen wrench, and a new M58 motor. Begin by unplugging the center module and move it to an adequate workspace where the center module can be turned over. Remove the 8 screws in the housing, 1 on each side, 4 in the rear, and 2 in the front of the housing. Keep these screws for securing the housing when you have replaced the motor. If present, disconnect the jog switch. In order to completely separate the rear enclosure, you will need to disconnect the switch by squeezing the bottom of the white connector and pull the connections apart. Remove the front enclosure and wiper blade assembly. The front enclosure, the translucent covers, and the wiper blade assembly can be lifted up and set aside. Disconnect the 2 wires from the motor assembly using the pair of needle nose pliers to grab the quick connects by the insulated area and pull off the motor connections. Turn the electrical assembly on its side with the motor fan facing away from you to access the skimming wheel assembly. Straighten the legs of the cotter pin and push the pin up through the shaft and place it to the side. Slide the wheel support shaft out. It will go down through the skimming wheel. The skimming wheel should slide out of the assembly, set it aside, and keep for reassembly. Turn the electrical assembly so the motor fan faces away from you and turn the fan to see the set screw on the wheel drive sprocket. Using the 3/32 inch Allen wrench, turn the set screw counterclockwise to loosen the sprocket. Pull the sprocket off the motor shaft. If necessary, you may need to use a hammer as a lever to remove the sprocket. Remove the 4 screws holding the M58 to the motor mount plate. Remove and discard the existing motor. Place the new motor with the drive shaft through the motor mount. Secure the new motor to the motor mount with the existing screws or new screws if new screws came with the new motor. Place the wheel drive sprocket back on the motor drive shaft so that it is flush with the shaft. Do not tighten the sprocket at this time. Turn the electrical assembly on its side with the motor fan facing towards you. Hold the skimming wheel in place and push the wheel support shaft through with the flat portion going first. You may have to twist the shaft until it lines up with the hole on the opposite support arm. Turn the electrical assembly over so that the flat portion of the wheel support shaft is sticking out slightly towards you. Replace the cotter pin downward through the hole in the wheel support shaft. Bend the legs of the cotter pin so that the wheel assembly will remain in place. Align the sprocket and skimming wheel, and using the 3/32 inch Allen wrench, turn the set screw on the wheel drive sprocket clockwise to tighten and hold the sprocket in place. Using your fingers or needle nose pliers, reconnect the 2 quick connects to the contacts on the motor. The white wire should connect to the top contact, and the black wire connects to the bottom contact. Turn the electrical assembly upright and replace the wheel wiper assembly. Center the skimming wheel in the wiper blade assembly. Place the front enclosure and translucent covers back on the electrical assembly. Reconnect the jog switch using the white connections if present. Place the rear enclosure over the rest of the electrical assembly. Replace the 8 screws in the housing, 1 on each side, 4 in the rear, and 2 on the front. To test your new motor, ensure the safety switch located on the rear of the unit is engaged. We recommend placing the electrical assembly back onto the Big Dipper for testing. Power the Big Dipper and ensure the red light is on if you have a 14,000 series, or if one of the setting lights turns green if you have a 40,000 series. For 14,000 series units, press in tabs on the timer and turn it clockwise until the white tabs cross over the arrow. The timer should click and the motor should run. For 40,000 series units, simply press the skim start button. Failure to run is the result of a failed safety switch or an improperly installed motor. If present, be sure to reset timer to local time after testing.